Live from KTV in Reno, you're watching 2 News at 4:30.
The only rules that we have is if we do an appointment, the charter says that we need to fill the position within 30 days.
I think we should run a special election.
The Reno City Council is discussing which direction it wants to go to fill former Councilman David Bobzien's seat. That tops 2 News at 4:30. Now, Bobzien is now part of Governor Steve Sisolak's administration, serving as his director of the Office of Energy. I'm Ariana Bennett.
And I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for keeping it here with us. Tonight, the council will decide if it will appoint someone to the at-large seat or hold that special election. Paul Nelson joins us live from City Hall where discussions are taking place. And Paul, what will go into the council's decision?
Well, a lot of it's time and money, Kristen. If they decide to appoint David Bobzien's replacement, it really wouldn't cost much at all, and that person would be in that seat by February 20th. If they decide to go for an election, it would take about 3 to 4 months, and the election would cost about $175,000 for a mail-in vote or $350,000 for an in-person vote.
The Reno City Council will have a different look this year. Less than 3 months after the election, one of its members has to be replaced. Some on the council want to appoint David Bobzien's successor.
My preference is to fill this as soon as possible. I do think an election would take about 3 months, so that seat would be empty, and I'm not sure that the citizenry benefits from that.
That option is faster and cheaper, but others say an election is the right thing to do for Reno's residents.
I think it's always most democratic to let the voters choose, and I think that we can also be the first jurisdiction in Nevada to pioneer a mail-in ballot election.
The Washoe County Registrar says that would cost about $175,000, but Breckus says the city would save tens of thousands on salary and other costs while the seat is vacant, so the overall cost would be lower. She wants whoever fills the seat to be thoughtful with the city's finances.
We have fewer police and fire than we had a decade ago. Our parks budget is about half what it was a decade ago. The bottom line, the fiscal condition of the city is our #1 priority.
Dewar says the city has reserves, so paying for an election's not a problem, but there is a concern about low voter turnout.
Turning out to elect 1 seat might not be as high as turning out to elect 35 seats and 8 ballot questions.
Candidates would apply for an appointment, or they would campaign for a few months for an election.
Whether they run in an election or get appointed, they're going to have to bring something unique, different, and special to the table.
Bobzien was appointed to this seat 4 years ago, and Dewar says there were about 70 applicants that time around. This seat will be up for election again in 2020, so whoever gets this seat potentially could be in office for nearly 14 years if they run for 3 different elections. Covering the big story live, Paul Nelson, 2 News.
All right, Paul, thank you. And